Welcome to Badminton Racket Review and to the final part of the 2018 test session. This year Badminton Racket Review the team here have added 45 odd rackets to the Badminton Racket Review e-zone on our website. So it's been a very busy year, a lot going on within the badminton world, and next year we expect to do the same, if not more. Now today I have with me the king. The question is it the king of Kawasaki or the king of all rackets? Let's find out. So we have with us here the Kawasaki King K8, and as you know, we are the first people to test Kawasaki in Europe, and we have many test results on the e-zone. We also have a lot of Kawasaki rackets for sale at www.badminton-racket-review.com. Just press the link above and it will take you directly to the site. Now then, why am I holding a box and not a racket? Well, how often a lot of people who watch the YouTube channel, the Instagram, Facebook feeds, you know, a lot of people have got a lot of knowledge on rackets. A lot of people are serious racket fans, but tell me one thing, how often do you receive a racket in this kind of presentation box? I mean, this is phenomenal. It is really good, and I'm going to try to open it without looking like a complete... Let me just put it down on the desk, maybe that'll be easier. 1 second, guys, 1 second, be patient. It's quite a tight box, but it really reminds me, and inside the box, here you go, look, there you go, yeah. Is that the right way around? Right way? Yeah. So that is what you are received with, and it says here in a sort of oriental lettering, and underneath it says King, and then you open it up here and you are presented normally with a racket which we've taken out. Isn't that awesome? Seriously. Yeah, we know now that Yonex, Li-Ning and Victor watch this channel. Well, if you're watching, take note. If you're going to sell a £100 plus racket, that is how you present it. Because to me, that makes you feel like you bought something special. Now the question is, how special is this racket? Well, I have it right here. The Kawasaki King K8. Now, it is quite a racket in many ways, and Kawasaki themselves have this down to be an intermediate to advanced users racket. We would put it down as the same. The availability on this racket within the UK is quite limited. There are only a few suppliers that we could find on a quick internet search that sell this racket. Kawasaki themselves do, I think Racket Line and a few others do sell the racket. The prices tend to be around £110 to £128, and as I said already, I would class it to be with limited availability within Europe. We will not be selling this particular model at our racket site, but it is available if you just do a quick Google search. Onto the specs. So this racket specs are quite easy to read. It is a 4U in weight, so 4U in weight. It says that the handle is G1, which is quite small, and the tension on the strings 18 to 30 pounds, so that's good to see. 30 pounds these days, you know, because of the international players, there is a trend with a lot of advanced players moving into high tension, so it's good to know you can go up to 30 pounds tension. Now let's just go back to the spec for a second. So Kawasaki have this down as a 4U racket. That's probably without the strings, not sure about the grip. Now we did the e-zone testing on this, and the e-zone weight now the balance of the racket is leaning towards the head side, so it's a head heavy racket, and again the e-zone testing on this racket confirms a balance point at 313 mil, which we actually class as more towards very head heavy, but certainly a head heavy racket. The shaft stiffness of the racket is classified as towards stiff, and again the e-zone testing on the shaft shows it to be a stiff shaft. So most of our E-zone testing concur with Kawasaki's own specifications of this racket. Now we are going to move on to what is possibly, outside of the general review of how this racket performs on court, we cannot ignore the design. This, I mean, Kawasaki, I don't know if any of you have seen some of our previous videos on Kawasaki, but we've always rated Kawasaki's design ability. Their marketing team at Kawasaki will seriously, whoever you are at Kawasaki, I'm surprised that people like the big players have not even tried to take you and use your skills in their companies, because nobody's producing rackets like this. I mean, you know, design is individual, there's no right or wrong, but from my perspective, the print quality, the design, the colors, the way they've been put together on this racket is amazing. Absolutely, I love Kawasaki design. I think they're brilliantly designed. So it really just feels like, you know, when you look at it, it's pleasing. You feel like you've got something special in your hands. And all due credit to Kawasaki and their marketing team for the presentation box, which is the best presentation box I've ever seen on any badminton racket, hands down. It's a very much an iPhone opening experience. You know, it's a very premium experience to open a product in the way that they've presented the box. And then when you take out the product and just look at it, it's impressive. It's highly impressive. So well done. Here's some close-up shots of the racket so you get a better feel for the design. So here are the Badminton Racket Review E-Zone key points for testing. Firstly, all rackets are restrung with the same string. Or they were, but this is now no longer being made, so we will be shifting to this string from 2019. All rackets are restrung to 25 pounds of tension. All rackets, 25 pounds of tension. We use the same shuttles, the Yonex AS30s for the control, maneuver and smash test. The player in the smash test uses the same velocity or same power, or as much as is humanly possible to do so, for each test. The control test, obviously it's the same player with the same abilities, and the maneuver test, well, it's a fairly isolated range of movement, in fairness. That's all the key information for you. Let's get back to the court testing. Okay, court testing time. The E-Zone smash test is first on the list. The E-Zone smash test is designed to reveal the racket's smashing potential, which measures the shuttle speed in kilometers per hour and also gives us the relative speed of the racket head. Here's an example. It's not of this racket, but here's an example of what I'm talking about. That kind of picture accompanies every single racket within the E-Zone. So you get an idea of repulsion. You get an idea of the head speed versus the shuttle speed, and so you kind of get an idea. If you were to swing faster than our tester is swinging, you may get a better smash result. You know, so if the racket is maxed out in airspeed, so 175, 180 is kind of high speed for a racket head to be traveling through the air, you kind of know that you are getting close to the maximum output of the racket. Don't forget, our tester is only ever hitting at 60%. It's not his full capability. The guy who tests these rackets, Hamza Khan, is serious smasher. I mean, I've been playing the game a long time, and I can tell you he's got one of the biggest smashes I've come across. Having said that, I've never faced you know, some of these Malaysian, Indonesian, Chinese men's doubles players. I'm sure their smashes are off the chain too. Nevertheless, the smash test, it's a great test. Now for the E-Zone maneuver test. We want to see what the maximum speed the racket can achieve from rest. So from rest coming upwards. In this test we measure the head speed of the racket as it travels through the air, recording the fastest speed achieved in kilometers per hour. Now here are the key facts, same as the smash test pretty much. For the maneuver test we use the same shuttles, all rackets are re-strung using the same string at the same 25 pounds of tension, and the player is isolated only to move in this direction. So there's no body movement, there's no shoulders going in, there's no back assistance or leg assistance. It's literally this movement here. So we're trying to isolate the movement of the racket in this test to measure the head speed, which kind of gives us an idea of the aerodynamic of the racket and how quickly the racket would react in a situation where, you know, in badminton, you know the situation, your racket's on this side, the shuttle's gone on the other side, you need to move quickly to get into position. This gives us an idea of that aspect of the racket. Time for the E-Zone control test. In this test we place 4 large buckets in front of the player. He aims for the green bucket every time. Every shuttle in the green bucket scores maximum. Shuttles going into the grey bucket score less, and anything in the net or out doesn't score at all. The clip we show you here is half or less of the total test that we do. So don't forget, before we give you the conclusion on this racket, don't forget to press the subscribe button, like our Facebook, Instagram. You know, the amount of emails we're getting from so many different parts of the globe now is absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for your support, and all of you on YouTube who are asking, you know, to compare this racket to that racket. Why are you not an E-Zone member? E-Zone, everybody who knows anything about us knows that E-Zone is not free, but it costs an awful lot to get these rackets, restring them, test them, you know, hire a space, then go through the analysis, and then create an upload of video, the website. All of that takes a long time, and it has a cost to it. For us to continue doing this, which is, don't forget, the #1 Badminton Racket Reviews, the world's #1 Badminton Racket review site. Nobody has ever tested more rackets than we have, and nobody has ever done testing of rackets to the depth that we test them to. If you're an E-Zone member, you will know. And the E-Zone comparative to a racket is absolutely amazing value for money. So nobody's trying to hide the fact there's a charge for it, but we are doing an awful lot of hard work to make it good value for money. Now back to the King K8. So I would say this racket, you know, the price is around £110 to £128. It seems to be in that bracket. So you're looking at not quite Astrox prices, but you're certainly out the budget range of rackets. Now, what do you get for that? So as a performance racket all round, it does offer very good all-round performance in terms of power, in terms of defense, in terms of control. What I really liked when I took this on course, we do 2 sessions of testing. We do the E-Zone testing and we do the independent testing, where we just have a knock around and go through specific shots to see how we feel. And we're in a unique position in that respect, because we're testing 19, 20, 30 rackets side by side, so you really do get a feel of how this compares. And this was actually tested next to the Astrox 99, the Astrox 55, the Astrox FB, the Voltric DG. So it went across some of the premium rackets out there right now, and we were testing it alongside those. I would say that this is a good all-round racket. It has good power, good control. And what I really like about rackets are when they feel lively. They feel like, yes, you know, I'm ready to go. You don't feel like, oh, come on, move. You know, you feel tired getting the racket to move where you want it to do. Your shoulders aching at the end of the night. Personally, I hate that. But this felt like, yes, let's do this, let's get the job done. It felt like it wanted to meet the shuttle on time. You know, it really felt like it was on your side. So actually, I thought it was a good racket. Now, would it go on the recommended list? Well, I think it would, for three reasons primarily. Firstly, it's cheaper than its comparative Astrox rackets. Secondly, the design of the racket is absolutely outstanding, amazing, and the presentation is amazing. And to be honest with you, the more expensive rackets don't really outperform it by much, if they do at all. So it's better in price, it looks better, and actually it performs really well. And in many cases, it's actually easier to use than the equivalent Astrox racket. So I would put it on the recommended list, and definitely worth a try. You know, when people send us rackets, manufacturers send us rackets, next year we have other manufacturers who are asking for us to test their rackets. They are it's made very clear to them. We have no affiliation or anything against, for that matter, any brand. You know, what we're saying is, look, we'll take the racket, it goes through the process, and whatever comes out of the other end comes out. If it's bad, it's bad. If it's good, it's good. So I assume Kawasaki were fairly confident that we would reach a good conclusion about this racket, and this is why they sent it to us. I think they rate this as a 4-star racket themselves, according to their website, and I think that's about right. There are rackets that we have tested. Out of the 19 rackets we tested in this last 2018 test session, there are better rackets that have performed better than this, but still, if you want a premium racket, you want good performance that isn't really going to stretch you physically to get the performance out, this is a good racket. Definitely take a look at it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want more information on this racket, if you want all of the spec, all the details, see every single test result we've achieved with this, and a more in-depth video review going through each and every test, so drop, smash, drive, clears, backhands, how we found this racket, then you need to sign into the E-Zone and get all the information. Here's a quick video on the E-Zone so you get an idea of how that works. Other than that, I'll see you on the next video.